week 7 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few guards I would drop this week. The first guy, John Wall with the Houston Rockets. So John Wall, he hasn't played a game at all this season here for the Rockets. And right now, there were going to be talks that John Wall was possibly going to come back and play here for Houston. But obviously, that was nixed here by the Houston front office. And the original agreement was they were going to find a trade partner for Wall and ship him off when they find the right deal. But right here, it's easier said than done with Wall's contract. And right now, he's just going to sit out for this Rocket team and collect the check here, is John Wall. And the Rockets here, they're pretty much tanking, in my opinion, with this decision. It's not like Wall don't want to play. He does want to play. But the more wins they get, the less of a draft pick their chances are of getting in the NBA draft. And we know the Rockets are a bad team, and they're already mailing it in here. Only 20 games into the season. So right here, Wall's going to have no fantasy value until he gets released, in my opinion, and signs with a contender or whoever. But right now, there's no reason to hold on to him with no end in sight until the Rockets get rid of him or until he plays for Houston, which obviously isn't going to happen. So he's an easy guard to drop this week. The second guard's Kemba Walker of the New York Knicks. So Kemba Walker, he's been a big disappointment, in my opinion, with his hometown New York Knicks team. And now Tom Thibodeau, he's had enough of Kemba Walker, and he thinks he's a liability in the Knicks rotation. So right here, he's going to bench Kemba Walker, and there's no spot for him after Alec Burks had a huge ball game at the Atlanta Hawks a few nights ago. So right here, the Knicks, they got a lot of depth at the guard position. We got Burks, like I mentioned. They got Emmanuel Quickly, who was impressive last season as a rookie, and this year has been so-so in the first 20 games. And they also got Derrick Rose, who should be back from injury at the ball game in Brooklyn here tonight. So right here, Kemba Walker on the season, he definitely hasn't put up the numbers like he has in the past. And his game's definitely declined over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Injuries have definitely caught up to Kemba. On the season, only 11.7 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, 3.1 assists, 1.1 steals, 2.1 threes, and 42% from the field. So the last few ball games here for Walker that he played. November 21st at the Bulls, 7 points, 2 boards, 4 assists, a block, a 3, 33% from the field. November 23rd versus the Lakers, 6 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, a block, 33% from the field. And November 26th versus the Suns, 17 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 3 threes, and 45% from the field. So obviously, those numbers, they're not getting the job done. He's not doing much on defense where guards are just blowing by him and doing anything they want. So right here, Thibodeau and the Knicks, they took a step back. They talked it over, and right now Walker is out of the rotation. Obviously, he could get back into the rotation even next week for all we know. But right now, while he's not in the rotation and the numbers are way down, he's definitely a guard I would drop this week. And the third and final guard, we're staying in the New York area, is Joe Harris of the Brooklyn Nets. So the Nets here, they've been pretty decent this season. But Joe Harris, we haven't seen him in action now for about 2 weeks here. And words come out, he's going to need surgery now on the ankle, where his original timetable was only 2 to 3 weeks he was going to miss. Now it's pushed back to another 4 to 8 weeks after he's going to have to recover from the surgery. So on the season for Harris, 11.3 points a game, 4 boards and assists, 2.9 threes a game, and 45% from the field. It's a pretty consistent season, pretty good numbers. But right now, with this injury, he's not a guy I really want to stash on my roster. With all the injuries around the league, a lot of guys sit out games and come back, where you can manipulate those injured list spots. So right here, with this bad injury to the ankle, we don't know when he's going to be 100%. In my opinion, it's an easy drop here as Harris, because there's some intriguing options to add on the waiver wire this week. But right now, with this injury, he's an easy guy to get away from, is Harris. And that's a few guards I would drop here for Week 7 of the fantasy basketball season.